Friends, today at Mangalore, a very important event is taking place, namely Global Symposium on Aquatic Resources for Eradicating Hunger and Malnutrition, Opportunities and Challenges. This symposium is organized as part of the Silver Jubilee celebrations of Asian Fisheries Society Indian branch stationed at Mangalore. At this juncture, we have with us a dignitary from Australia who has embarked on projecting fish as a health food so that so-called malnutrition that exists in the developing countries and also in some parts of developed countries, he would like to see that there is adequate increase in fish production which reaches to the poor also, so that young children will get to nourished with fish. Fish as a health source, the one who is pioneering is Professor Roy Palmer. He is the director of Seafood Experience Australia. He is promoting fish as health food. He also is associated with various other organizations, for instance, the Global Aquaculture Alliance, World Aquaculture Society, Biomarine Organization, etc. Since he is an invitee delegate for this symposium, he gave a keynote address yesterday. Today it is my pleasure to introduce to you Professor Roy Palmer. Sir, your ambition to project fish as health food all over the world, to what extent optimistic you are in spreading this science?
Oh, I'm very optimistic because the thing is that the science is on our side. So clearly around the world today, experts around the world are coming forward more and more, and we're getting more about the benefits of seafood rather than just the risks of seafood. So this is a very important change, and so we thank the FAO particularly for the work they've done in getting together these expert committees for a lot of activities which are happening right around the world about seafood and health conferences and connecting these issues. One of the most important things is getting the information from the research and science area and converting that into general knowledge for the consumers and the communities around the world.
Do you look at developing country as a main target area because large section of the society is not only poor but they are highly malnourished? What programs do you envisage to tackle this problem in developing countries?
Well, what is great about seafood is that it doesn't need to be expensive. You can be producing very small fish agriculturally or from marine environment, and you're producing phenomenal nutrients which will have all these incredible ingredients for a great health and lifestyle. So, for example, in India at the moment, you've got a seafood consumption rate of about 5.3 kilos per head. When you consider that the average around the world is around 18.4 kilos, you can see how far you are behind the eight ball. When you look at other countries in, say, Southeast Asia, most of them have consumption well over 30 kilos, some in 50 kilo area. So, for example, Japan's well over 50 kilos, Malaysia's well over 50 kilos, Korea's well over 50 kilos, and so it goes on. So you can see there's enormous opportunity there for India to grow fish and to increase its nutritional aspects for its population. So the other thing about the use of the oceans and the waterways is that it's not just necessarily about fish, it can be about aquatic plants. So for example, seaweeds are incredibly important. And back in the 13th century, when people travelled by horse, the first thing that would happen would be you would be given some dried seaweed. Now we're finally getting that understanding that seaweed's important. If you look at Japan and Korea, seaweed is a part of their diet. Even if you have a meat dish like shabu shabu in Japan, where you have water as the beginning of that, which then turns into be a broth. But the first thing they put in there is seaweed, okay, to get that flavour and to get that nourishment. So we've got a lot to learn from a lot of different countries, and we've got to share this knowledge, and that's why a global platform on this is very important. And that was something that's been lacking for a while, and that's why we've created GILS. GILS is the Global Initiative for Life and Leadership through Seafood, and the idea is to understand that this isn't a problem just for India, it's not a problem just for Australia, it's a problem for the world. And therefore we need to share this understanding and get this information out.
Yes. As far as India's per capita fish consumption you mentioned, perhaps why it is low, I would look at it from this angle. You know, India is having so many religions, so many castes, and basically the basic Hindu community would not prefer to go non-vegetarian.
Sure.
So it is said that hardly about 50% of the Indian population only consume fish. Probably that may also have added to the low consumption figure.
Yeah.
Unlike Chinese, where it is 100%, everyone eat fish. Cambodia, Vietnam, Korea, most of the other nations, we find the entire population loves fish. But in our country, awareness is slowly, getting into their minds, and we hope in the coming years, our Indian population will also appreciate the health source from fish.
Yes.
And we hope one day fish will play a major role in upkeeping good health and safe, long life for Indians.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much for sparing your valuable time
Thank you very
during
much.
this symposium.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.